Hello everybody, it is that panda guy and I'm here again with another video. I swear that's like, I don't know where I got this kind of like catchphrase where I go into videos from. I think I did it when I was young and I kind of like caught on, I don't know, or I heard it. It's just weird. I feel like everybody just knows me to say that when I start off a video and it's habit now. But all right, we're gonna hop into this video, and today we are looking at kind of just so basically this is the aftermath of the kind of Fine battle that went down, where it was like Fine, Arkham, Fox, Doom, and Prime, and me and Doom, or us and Doom, we actually ended up coming out on top. Thankfully, I honestly thought we might lose there, but I think Fine just ended up losing their momentum. They ended up just draining out, and a lot of their members probably had to go to bed and just stuff like that, right? And we decided that we were going to start crashing to their towers and dropping this stuff. And I will say that if you guys were looking, the trades earlier out on this tower were actually going out more even. But the longer this went out, you actually see like the trades become more positive for us. And I'll kind of explain like why that is. So in the case of this tower, there was nobody near it. There was nobody to keep it reinforced. And of course, our rally had people around it ready to keep it reinforced and keep it filled. So whereas our rally was able to keep staying full, this tower just kept dropping, kept dropping, kept dropping. And eventually it would become like 2 million troops versus, I don't know, 200,000 troops, right? That are in the tower. And the trades are going to become worse and worse, of course, the like lower the kind of just sizes, right? Because like if you have 1 million troops versus 2 million troops, just face value, those 2 million troops are probably going to be taking 1 to 2 trades, for example, right? Like it's just how it is. And I will say that I did set a lot of range rallies, and this was kind of a mix of things, being that they were defending with infantry, which is generally default, defensive troop unit, and also the fact that my range is actually my strongest troop type, and I actually burn out a lot of range in this event, as well as infantry. I don't generally use riders, and that might also have to do with the fact that I don't have a lot of good rider heroes. And I do have Bella and Steven now. I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but I do have those two now, and I might be running more rallies or just more attacks with those two because, I mean, why not? But my range, of course, is kind of close to actually unlocking tier 6, so it generally was just more ideal for me, or at least I thought so, to probably set a lot more range rallies, just DPS it out. I also want to mention something that's been really plaguing me when fighting. So you guys are going to see constantly me attacking these bases, right? And I don't know if you guys can notice, but I was clicking on the base and it actually didn't re-toggle me. And I noticed that basically when you're toggling all, what you used to be able to do is you used to be able to attack a base, and just the second your march is disengaged, you'd be able to just tap it again, right, to re-engage with the base. And now you can't just do that, which I think it is, I don't know, it's really weird because I do get maybe they're trying to make sure that you can't insta toggle back into a battle on the base and then make it impossible for them to teleport or shield or something. But basically when you're toggling all, you have to click on the field and then on the base, right? Like I have to instantly tap on the field, tap on the base. And you guys are going to see this with a lot of swarms. The second my marches disengage, you guys are going to see like as if the marches are going towards somewhere, where you see the blue lines, you guys are going to see it click off around the base and then click like re-engage back on the base. And that is basically to re-engage in battle, because you cannot just re-toggle in battle. It's really stupid. And I don't know how I feel about that feature, but I do understand why it might be added. So it was whatever. Also, I don't know if you guys noticed, but we were setting double rallies. I thought this would be pretty cool, and we set some double rallies. I'm honestly a little mad about this one because I think I set a little too early, and it was kind of hard to coordinate, especially because we didn't really plan for this. But I thought it'd be pretty cool to run double rallies, and I tried my best to make sure that they were timed as good as possible with like what we were working with. We weren't in a VC. All we were doing were like sending messages in game, and I was like, all right, I'm setting, just stuff like that. And I will say that this dude sent an infantry rally, so it would have definitely been better and more in our favor if we had actually had set, been the second one to arrive compared to the infantry rally, where it would have been more tanky. But there wasn't much you can like change about that. Luckily it was Liam, so it wasn't like the strongest garrison captain ever. And I will be speeding up a lot of this footage, by the way, and you guys are going to be seeing a buttload of swarms on these bases. I will say that although I did want to zero some bases, and that's, one big reason why we attacked Fine, that isn't the only reason necessarily. A lot of it actually might, was including the fact that we did want to kind of, I'd like to say, crush their morale, crush their spirit, and kind of just force them into like a stand, like just backing off, right? Because obviously we're just filling their hospitals. I also don't know if you guys noticed that, but this dude has Lewis on his wall. He has the circular AoE, meaning that he does have this dude awaken. And basically, you saw Shifty standing over there, and he got hit with AoE, taking a bunch of deads that he shouldn't have been taking. That was just unlucky. And he was AFK right outside his base. That was actually really unfortunate, but nothing you can really do to change that. But like I was saying, we're doing a lot of this just to kind of discourage their alliance from continuing to fight us, because it was actually really draining to fight these guys in the field. Of course, kills did have a big factor in why these bases were sieged. And in all honesty, there are no hard feelings. This is Island Raid, and it is just war, right? Like, it is fighting, and you come into this and you got to expect the worst. That's why, like, especially after my first island where I got zeroed, you gotta expect that you're gonna be zeroed, right? You gotta go in and expect that kind of stuff if you aren't smart, if you don't shield or anything. Also, I don't know if you guys noticed the 60,000 dead on this defense. None of that was the actual defender. I'm pretty sure all of this was reinforcements, which is actually insane. Like 60,000 in reinforcements. That also means 60,000 injured from reinforcements, because if you guys did not know, 50% of your reinforcing troops into a base will die and 50% will be injured, which is, just a cool fact if anybody didn't know. You get 50% injured, 50% dead when defending an alliance member from sieges. So just be mindful when you're defending somebody, if the trades are worth it, or if you really want to sacrifice your troops to defend that member. It can be worth it, especially if their defense is insane and you think you're going to be getting good trades on the attackers. And in this case, they did get pretty good trades, especially on this guy, because this guy was like one of their stronger members, I feel like, who were able to just tank so much damage. Like, honestly, the trades for this guy were pretty decent compared to a lot of people that we might attack, right? Like, so honestly, this dude's defense was solid. Might have to do a lot with Lewis, and even the fact that he had Raygro, where Raygro was tanking, he's making this like take forever to actually like drop his base. And then you have Lewis's AoE just, and I mean, Lewis has insane AoE, so he was doing some nasty damage that was just disgusting. You guys can actually see here, 0 deaths from the actual defender. All those deaths are from other people. Also, in Island Raid, I think your hospitals increased by 100%. So I actually forgot about this. And, the amount of kills we got on that guy weren't actually a lot, because I think if you have all your hospitals at 25, you get like 800k plus hospital room, and that is an insane amount, especially when you consider like a lot of people might only have like 1 million plus troops, so we're only killing like 200, 300, 400,000, right? You also get 65% of that back, and possibly system rewards from the game, which gives even more of that back, as well as like speed ups and stuff. So it honestly, being the attacker isn't really advantageous, besides the fact that you're getting a lot of kills. And you know what? I don't mind. I want my kills. I'm a kill hungry guy, and I just want to improve my stats. That's just how I am. I don't know if that's just me. Of course, I'm not going to be going in recklessly and taking bad trades if I don't need to. That's why, honestly, I would have joined Doom in these swarms, but I feel like they were just going ham and losing a lot more troops because they weren't refreshing their marches and just stuff like that. These guys were going crazy, and I was just gonna let them have it. I was gonna let them have the kills. I did not want to take those trades. That was actually a little bit disgusting. But yeah, I mean, I kept hitting this dude, by the way. I wanted the 0, and I was pissed. I I wasn't getting no kills from this guy, and I just kept coming back. I think I was obsessed with hitting this base, and eventually I just decided not to stop. I think I dropped him to 52 million at some point, but yeah. While all these bases are getting swarmed out, I'm just smacking this dude again and again. I also don't know if you guys noticed, but basically Doom and us were tag teaming and taking these towers out from 2 sides to kind of drop as many of these bases as possible. If these guys didn't shield by the time that, obviously they if they didn't wake up in time, or they just weren't online, they were going to get zeroed, they were going to get flushed out, or just have their troops fill their hospital. Just make this as painful as possible. Try to, just cripple their alliance as much as possible, because no matter how big the players are, no matter how many whales you have, it won't matter if your general player base isn't able to keep flags full, isn't able to reinforce rallies, whatever it might be it field control, be it kind of just grunts, right? Like I don't want to make it sound like average players are grunts, but in the general like scheme of things, you kind of need these guys to play as grunts and just take a lot of the damage. They got to spread out the damage. They got to kind of ease off the field for you, right? Because you don't want your whales to be the only ones on the field trying to maintain field control, just getting overwhelmed by numbers. It's just like a huge, factor, obviously. You got to make sure that you actually have numbers, and that's what we were doing. We were getting rid of their general player base. And, I feel like there's always two ways you can go about things. That is taking out the top dogs, right? Like you could take out the top players, or you can just take out everybody that the top players would be crutching on, right? Like you just smack the crutches away and you have the top players fall to their knees. Of course, the top players weren't, just falling to their knees. Like they still had fight in them. They were still able to fight. But the general like point is like they can't really do anything without their average players. Like they weren't able to fight at all or just retake middle. We just wanted to get them off ruins. And honestly, I was just blood hungry. I wanted some content. I wanted some footage. And I thought this would be perfect. So I do hope you guys are enjoying this. And, I hope Fine doesn't have hard feelings against me. This is honestly, there's no hard feelings here. I do respect Fine. They took this really well. They were very respectful, and they just said it was a good fight, and I do appreciate that. I appreciate good sportsmanship, and I do think that's just like a good show of character when you have that. So honestly, GG to Fine. They put up a really good fight and ended up just getting overwhelmed. And you can't blame anybody for like their zeros except for the players who got zeroed. You can only send out so many alliance mails. You can only warn them so many times. And I mean, dude, if you don't go into this PvP event with expecting that you might get zeroed, you're honestly just dumb. Like I'm sorry to say it, but you are just dumb if you go into a PvP event and don't notice like the fact that you might get zeroed, and you got to play smart. Don't go offline near ruins where like there's a full out battle going on unshielded, right? Like we were fighting for hours at least. I feel like we were definitely out here for hours until we were able to burn down their towers and then burn down their bases, which honestly went over the period of an hour or two, maybe even longer. So I feel like they definitely had time, either before the towers started dropping to notice that we were fighting, all fighting each other, or the fact that during the time we were zeroing, which they had hours maybe to wake up. Of course, I can't say like, you can't blame someone for sleeping, so I can't really say that's also like all the reason, but I just wanted to kind of point that out and say it's nobody's fault. You can't blame leadership for people getting zeroed. That's really on them. If the leader gets zeroed, that's on them. And honestly, that's why I blame myself last time I got zeroed. It's not my alliance members' faults for not defending me. It's my fault for falling asleep, unshielded, right? Like it's all my fault. And yeah, you just got to take responsibility for your mistakes. I would really hate, I haven't really had this issue, but I would hate it if I was blamed or one of my members was like, yo, why didn't you guys defend me when I was getting zeroed? Like it's your fault for playing reckless. I don't know. I feel like I just wanted to blab about that. But yeah, you guys see a lot of insane, just swarms, nonstop swarms. I honestly burnt through, I feel like at least 1 million troops between my accounts, definitely more, maybe 1 million, 2 million. It was a gnarly battle out here, and I lost so much might. I think I at least lost 1 million might on my main, probably 1 million plus on most of my accounts because I was doing a lot of swarms here. I was doing a lot of rallies, and all of these rallies were doing damage to me. So it definitely hurt, but I mean, you guys just see here. You guys see the freaking massacre. Also, I don't know if you guys are noticing, but during my attacks, I actually get a little bit of injured in a lot of my attacks, and this is due to the new parts, or not parts, but gear. Whereas, so basically upgrading the middle gear. Middle. I think it's like the backpack or something. But basically, you can reduce your death percentage when attacking, or just in general, right? So now when I'm hitting a base, of course it's nothing crazy, but I might lose 0.5% less or something like that when attacking a base, which is just pretty cool because those of course are going to be injured, which I mean, to each their own. You don't really see it here. I think I have to hit like a certain amount of deaths, for example, like 1,000, where I might get, 1 injured back. You guys see it there. I almost had like 5,000 dead, and then I got 29 troops back in my injuries, of course, which I mean isn't nothing crazy, but it does add up and kind of saves you a lot of troops, especially if you're doing long battles and you have a lot of deads involved. So that definitely can save thousands, if not more, troops, especially if you get the gear up even higher. All right, it's 3 minutes left, guys. I try to blab as much as possible, try to just keep you guys entertained and just talk about stuff you might or might not know. I don't know. I just try my hardest. You guys see these reports, they are disgusting. And I mean, the numbers start adding up for me. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I did start at 95 million at the start of this, and I think I drop maybe to 91 million. Of course, some of these are hospital troops. Actually, a lot of them are hospital troops, and a lot are just dead. That I'm like 93 million. I know it definitely dropped at least 2 million in this fray. It was definitely a death trap over here. Yeah, you see me at 93 million, of course. It's actually only like a million and like maybe 1.5 million drops so far, but it is disgusting. I'm trying to spread out my deaths and still also, of course, get kills on these other accounts by, swarming these things down. And I mean, I do get a lot of resources here, so I definitely get paid for what I lose, but it is painful, and I definitely wanted to aim for 100 million kills this event, and I will say I hit my 100 million kill mark, and I am a happy camper because of that. Oh my gosh, dude. Just the mic drops on these people. I'll say definitely were a lot of deads on both sides. I feel like I'm losing my words. I don't know what to talk about now. But yeah, you guys kind of just see a big show. I will give it to Doom as well. They put in a lot of work, and they definitely lost a lot of troops for these kills. And I mean, it was definitely a lot of fun. Yikes. I don't know if you guys are noticing these white numbers, by the way, but like each of those cycles right there were 50,000 plus injuries slash deads, just from every march hitting together. Like that's like 50,000 every second. 50,000 in the hospital or 50,000 dead every second right there. Like look at these numbers. This is just insanity. And then you move on to the next target right under him. Boop. I don't even know. It's like whack-a-mole over here. And so many of these people are defending with Liam. I can't even like knack at them, but I will say that Liam is not the first garrison captain that I would choose if I could choose between, all the legendaries that you can like choose as an option. And so many of these people are choosing Liam. And like I said, I can't knack them. These are also newer regions. So, I mean, I think Fine is from region 10. So I feel like they definitely have had time to kind of develop and definitely have proper garrison captains. It's always possible they were mismanaged before they went to sleep. They didn't put it on their wall. I don't know. Like Russell as on your garrison as well as the secondary. Like why Russell, man? He's a zombie. He's a zombie killer, man. I don't know about you guys, but I don't think I look like a zombie. I don't think my troops look like zombies, and I don't think they're zombies. But it's whatever, you guys. One day people will start learning. And that is that. Also, it's the last 10 seconds of the video, so I will thank you guys for watching once again, and I do appreciate you guys for constantly returning and your support. So thank you guys, and peace out. Have a good day or night.